was trying to say that I think it's possible that architecture can work against the binary, because architecture is not lexical, it's undeclared, it's spatial, and I'm asking the question, can it be stealthy in this way? Can it organize arrangements? At the beginning of this book that I wrote a few years ago, it asks a question about parents with fighting children. And the parent with fighting children doesn't try to litigate the argument. They walk through the room, opening up a window, putting a pet into the arms of one child, putting blood sugar into another child. They change the conditions of the room to reduce violence and reduce the binary. And I think architects can do that in a stealthy way. The current political situation is concentrating wealth, and so it's always going to be bad. It's never going to be good. At the same time, we were talking at lunch that you might say to all those people who concentrated wealth, thank you for concentrating this wealth, because now you're the target. Like now we know who to unsubscribe from. We know who to in some ways they made it easy for us, or we can at least pretend that way. Rather than the hopeless position is to say like, they're so concentrated, have so much concentrated wealth, but maybe there's a way we can look at it differently. The city creates these opportunities, and the way that space is now disposed, it makes it easier for people to be isolated, easier to be drawn into these cults of the right wing. So that's very hard to change that. I mean, if you look, you don't see it in a reasonable country like Spain, but if you drive through the United States, you can see spaces and you just think, we have messed up the world and there is no way to change it. And it feels that people are just isolated and that there's no way to bring them back. But, the city would be the answer to. You can see it in the politics. You can see it in the way people vote. Their willingness to aggregate, to be together with each other, to be more generous in their political leanings. Build coalitions always. Even when you think you're right, build a coalition with somebody who's different from you. And that is the city. To be with people that you don't necessarily understand. And that's your best resource. That's the most radical position as well. Not the extreme position of an ideology, but a coalition. That's the most interesting, most dangerous, most risky, most radical position. It came up in our conversations with Ethel and Inigo that one wants to convey to students what that process is like, the attraction to that process, to working in that process. Because who talks about that? We only talk about the goal, and so we don't talk about the beauty of that process and the pleasure of it, the elegance of it. These things are organized by the art world, by small societies of people, and they are lovely in the way that they gather people. The taxpayer is not paying for this. These are voluntary moments of participation and getting together.